Here is my RS6 GT3, and here is my RS6 engine that we need to fix. And today, my look's about to get even.
Something about Mat Armstrong's story refuses to sit quietly in the background. Once it begins unfolding, stopping halfway almost feels impossible. From rebuilding a smashed Bentley Continental GT during the chaos of the pandemic to building a digital empire with millions watching every move, Armstrong did not just change careers, he completely flipped the game. And here is where things get even more interesting. Behind those viral rebuilds is a lifestyle filled with luxury cars, bold investments, unexpected risks, and decisions that turned broken machines into global entertainment. So how did everything come together so perfectly? Stick around, because the deeper this story goes, the harder it becomes to look away. Mat Armstrong's journey did not begin with supercars. It began with bikes. Born in Leicester in 1993, Mat grew up around two very different worlds. One was BMX riding, where he spent hours practicing tricks, pushing limits, and chasing the perfect landing. The other was mechanics, where he learned about cars from his father, Tony, a skilled mechanic. At the time, nobody knew which path would shape his future. By the age of 16, Mat was already taking freestyle BMX seriously. He traveled internationally to places like France, Germany, and Dubai, competing at a level most people never reach. But then came the kind of moment that changes everything. During a qualifying run at the BMX World Championships in Germany, Mat attempted a 720 tail whip. The trick went wrong, and he suffered a serious shoulder dislocation. Even though he qualified in 16th place, the achievement was overshadowed by the injury. His shoulder continued to dislocate, even while he was sleeping, making a professional return almost impossible. That injury forced a hard reset. After BMX, life became much more ordinary. Mat worked different jobs to keep going. He spent time at the family garage, delivered food, worked behind bars, and even worked at Graham Good Motors. At that stage, nothing suggested that millions of people would one day be watching his every move online. Then something unexpected happened. His girlfriend's Audi TT was damaged in a crash. Instead of walking away from it, Mat bought the wrecked car back from the insurance company for just £600. That simple decision changed everything. He filmed the rebuild process and shared it online. Slowly, that idea turned into a format people could not stop watching, buying damaged cars and bringing them back to life on camera, step by step, mistake by mistake, and success by success. His YouTube channel, which had started on April 7, 2013 with BMX content, began evolving into something much bigger. The growth did not happen overnight, but consistency paid off. Views started climbing into the millions, and by 2025, his total video views had reached hundreds of millions. But what makes people watch long car rebuild videos for so long? Maybe it is the honesty of the process. Maybe it is the satisfaction of seeing something broken become whole again. Or maybe it is the suspense of wondering whether each project will actually survive. Money soon began coming from multiple directions. It was not just YouTube ads anymore. There were brand deals, merchandise sales, and profits from car builds. Estimates have placed his net worth somewhere between $1 and $3 million, which is a huge shift from working regular jobs only a few years earlier. A major turning point came when Richard Hammond reacted to one of Mat's builds. That moment brought a huge surge of attention almost instantly. Sometimes, one reaction really can change everything. That exposure opened doors to bigger opportunities, major sponsorships, and a full-time career in content creation. By the end of 2019, Mat made the bold decision to leave traditional work behind and focus completely on YouTube. He celebrated that new chapter in a way that perfectly matched the journey, buying a Mercedes-Benz AMG A45 and taking a road trip to Monaco in a Bentley. It almost feels symbolic. He went from rebuilding damaged cars to driving luxury vehicles across Europe. Looking at the full journey, the path was never straight. It was filled with injuries, setbacks, risks, and decisions that could have gone completely wrong. But that is what makes the story powerful. Would any of this have happened without the injury? Without the crashed Audi TT? Without the decision to film that first rebuild? Sometimes the biggest changes come from moments that feel like failures at the time. And Mat Armstrong's story proves exactly that. What started as setbacks slowly became something bigger, more impressive, and almost unbelievable. But the story does not stop there, because Mat's luxury car collection takes everything to another level. How does a damaged supercar become more valuable after being broken than when it was brand new? That is the world Mat Armstrong operates in. His high-end restoration projects are not just about fixing cars. They are about creating stories that pull in millions of viewers within weeks. The formula is simple but powerful. He buys crashed or heavily damaged luxury vehicles at much lower prices, then rebuilds them step by step while documenting everything for YouTube. But here is the real question: does the profit come from selling the car later, or from the attention the rebuild creates? In Mat's case, the real value often sits in the content itself. Take the Bentley Continental GT as an example. How does a luxury Grand Tourer worth around £150,000 end up being bought for only £10,000? The car had heavy front-end damage and interior problems, but it still carried serious luxury appeal, including Mulliner specification, cross-stitched seats, and chrome detailing. At first, the plan seemed simple: repair it for around £10,000 and bring it back to life. But restoration projects rarely stay within the first estimate. Costs increased, and even after the rebuild, a Bentley service inspection revealed more than 100 separate issues. One of the biggest problems was a cracked engine mount that caused the W12 engine to sit tilted. At that point, most people would ask if the project was still worth it. Surprisingly, yes. Even with all those problems, the car was driven all the way to Monaco. That showed something important: perfection was never the only goal. The journey itself was the story. Then came the Aston Martin Vantage. This 2019 model was bought for £54,000. It had deployed airbags, structural issues, and serious repair challenges. But underneath the damage was still a 500 horsepower twin-turbo V8 with just 14,000 miles. The challenge became even harder when Aston Martin refused to sell certain parts directly because of safety restrictions. That forced Mat to find another way through the repair process. Modern cars are not just mechanical anymore. They are digital, locked, and controlled by software. To bypass computer restrictions, the car was scanned as a Mercedes-Benz C63S. After that, the rebuild continued with KW suspension upgrades, wheel spacers, and Quicksilver exhaust modifications costing £912. In the end, Aston Martin technicians gave the car full approval. That is what makes the rebuild so impressive. It started as a damaged write-off and still reached a level where factory specialists accepted it. Then there was the Lamborghini Murcielago. This story almost sounds unreal. How does a V12 supercar sit for 7 years without an engine inside a track company's storage space? The engine was incomplete, missing flywheel and clutch components. Previous rebuild attempts had already failed, and the earlier mechanic later ended up in prison for armed robbery. At that point, most people would have walked away. But Mat kept going. A deeper inspection revealed misordered cam caps, broken piston rings, and fried electronics caused by a bad jumpstart attempt. Even with all of those issues, the rebuild moved forward, and eventually the Murcielago came back to life. That project felt less like a normal repair and more like a test of patience, problem-solving, and pure determination. The Porsche 911 GT3 rebuild brought another kind of challenge. Is it really possible to rebuild a modern performance car in just 24 hours? The project cost around £139,500, not including labor. A team of 5 people worked on it at around £75 per hour, adding roughly £9,000 in labor alone. The finished car was still unpainted and carried a Cat N classification, but the rebuild video reached around 1.7 million views within a single day. That raises an interesting point. What matters more to the audience, the final perfect shine of the car, or the drama and speed of the rebuild itself? Then came one of Mat's biggest projects, Marcus Rashford's Rolls-Royce Wraith. How does a luxury car originally worth around £700,000 get bought at auction for £184,000 after a crash? The vehicle had only 1,135 miles on it and was a Mansory Black Badge Wraith. Mat added a donor car costing £90,000 and around £50,000 worth of Mansory parts, pushing the total spend to about £324,000. Even the smaller parts were extremely expensive. Side skirts cost around €8,400 each, and some trim pieces cost around €4,400. During the process, Rashford's team even supported the rebuild with spare parts and accessories. But this project became bigger than just another car repair. Signed car parts were sold, and proceeds went to Fair Share, a charity supported by Rashford. That turned the rebuild into something more meaningful than a garage project. It became a global story. But Mat Armstrong's life is not only about cars. His property moves and real estate decisions also show how far the operation has grown. Frequent travel between the United Kingdom and the United States eventually led to a major lifestyle decision, buying a property in Miami valued at around $1.1 million. At first, that might sound like a luxury purchase. But the reason was more practical than it seemed. Mat needed a base in the United States, especially for long-term automotive projects like the Bugatti Chiron build. A project like that cannot be handled properly through short visits or temporary setups. The Miami property became more than just a house. It became a base of operations. The decision was not random either. Several options around the $1 million range were considered before the final choice was made. The deciding factor came down to space and workshop potential. That detail says a lot. This was not just about comfort. It was about creating a place where living, building, and filming could all connect. There was also advice from Mat's father that influenced the decision: money is always safe in a house. That advice added another layer to the purchase. It was not only a lifestyle move, but also a long-term investment. Back in the United Kingdom, Mat's workshop was also evolving. The garage received a major upgrade with the installation of 3,200 premium PVC modular tiles across the entire floor. A job that normally takes around 2 days was completed in just 1 day using 8 pallets of black PVC smooth tiles. The flooring was not just for appearance. It came with a 10-year guarantee and was designed to handle heavy loads, spills, and high-impact mechanical work. For a workshop dealing with expensive cars, tools, and constant movement, that kind of foundation matters. The upgraded space made the garage feel less like a basic workshop and more like a professional production environment. And that is the bigger point. Mat's business is no longer just about fixing cars. It is about infrastructure, content, planning, filming, logistics, and global expansion. His lifestyle beyond cars shows the same thing. Mat is based in England and shares his life with his partner, Hannah Smith. She is not just in the background either. She often appears in content and helps with business and production work. The couple also has a Boston Terrier named Kevin, who has become a regular character in the videos and almost part of the brand itself. On the business side, the scale is even more surprising. Mat has built a merchandise system that ships to more than 200 countries. That is not a small side hustle. That is a global audience turning car content into a worldwide brand. His income comes from several streams at once: YouTube ads, brand partnerships, affiliate marketing, merchandise, and car-related profits. Some estimates suggest his monthly YouTube AdSense earnings reach around $138,950, with individual videos bringing in around $69,480. And that is only one part of the business. His merchandise, including clothing, caps, and accessories, often sells out quickly. That shows the kind of loyalty his audience has built around him. Travel and international expansion have also become a major part of the journey. The Miami property shows that Mat is not just thinking locally anymore. He is building a larger operation that can work across countries. Family influence remains at the center of the story too. Mat's father, Tony Armstrong, played a major role in teaching him mechanical skills from an early age. Growing up around hands-on work clearly gave Mat the confidence needed for complex automotive builds later in life. Tony still appears in some videos, helping with diagnostics and restoration work. That makes the journey feel more personal and grounded. One of the most meaningful moments came in 2024, when Mat gifted his father a rebuilt Ferrari. That moment brought the story full circle. The skills Matt learned as a child eventually helped him build a global career. And that success allowed him to give something powerful back to the person who helped shape him. Mat Armstrong's journey is not just about cars. It is about turning setbacks into opportunities, broken machines into stories, and personal passion into a global business. From BMX injuries to damaged supercars, from garage work to luxury properties, and from simple rebuild videos to millions of loyal viewers, his story shows how one unexpected decision can change an entire life. And that is what makes the journey so hard to ignore. Thanks for reading. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. And if you want to watch another exciting story, click the video on your screen now.